Justice laws, Leviticus 19:14. It's a verse you could read past in seconds, easy to overlook, easy to file under miscellaneous ancient instructions. Do not curse the deaf or put a stumbling block in front of the blind, but fear your God. In the ancient world, in Egypt, Babylon, Assyria, Rome, the deaf and the blind were among the most marginalized people in any society. They had no economic utility in the brutal calculus of ancient civilization. They couldn't serve in armies. They couldn't tend fields the same way. They were, by the world's accounting, liabilities, and God wrote a law specifically protecting them. Not a general law about kindness, a specific law. Don't curse the deaf, meaning don't take advantage of the fact that they can't hear your insult. Don't put a stumbling block before the blind, meaning don't exploit the vulnerability of someone who can't see the trap you've laid. In other words, God sees what you do when you think the vulnerable person can't defend themselves. Leviticus 19:32. Stand up in the presence of the aged, show respect for the elderly, and revere your God. The elderly, who in every civilization eventually become economically non-productive, were to be honored. Not tolerated, not warehoused, honored, stood up for. Literally rise when they enter the room. Leviticus 19:33-34. When a foreigner resides among you in your land, do not mistreat them. The foreigner residing among you must be treated as your native-born. Love them as yourself, for you were foreigners in Egypt. The immigrant, the outsider, the person without citizenship, without legal protection, without community roots, the person every nation in history has found easiest to exploit because they have the least recourse. Treat them as native-born. Love them as yourself. And the reason God gives isn't policy pragmatism. It isn't social stability. It's memory. You were foreigners in Egypt. You know what it feels like to be the one with no voice. You know what it costs when no law protects you, so don't do that to someone else. Leviticus 19:13. Do not defraud or rob your neighbor. Do not hold back the wages of a hired worker overnight. Pay your workers the same day. Don't make the day laborer wait overnight for wages he needs tonight to feed his family. Don't hold his paycheck hostage to your convenience. 3,000 years before labor law, 3,000 years before minimum wage legislation, 3,000 years before anyone organized for workers' rights, God already said, this man worked today, pay him today. Because the God of Leviticus doesn't just care about Israel's relationship with himself, he cares with stunning, specific, relentless attention about what Israel does to the person at the bottom of every social hierarchy. The deaf man who can't hear the insult coming, the blind man who can't see the trap, the elderly woman who can't defend her own honor, the immigrant with no legal standing, the day laborer who can't afford to wait. God sees every single one of them, and he wrote their protection into law. That's not an ancient cultural artifact. That's the character of God made visible in legislation, and that character hasn't changed.